Buongiorno. Alles gut? Как дела? Хорошо. I learned Russian on Duolingo. Yeah, I started. It's getting...
And so far it's the same phrases you already use.
Yeah, they always give me the same. Duolingo is a slow teacher. Here, do I sit?
This is
And the coffee. Live stream, yes. I'm good. It's good. Oh my god. Yeah. It was what?
last year.
I had breakfast with Salome. Salome came and she watched it for the first time music on ice.
I can everybody hear.
And the music at the radio.
Hello everybody.
Good morning.
We are live here with Stefan and we have a lovely music here. And of course, if you have any good questions, you might read it out at some point. So
Even the
type
bad
it in
questions.
the
I take all the questions, the bad.
So type it in the chat and I will follow along. And now, thank you Stefan for joining.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay, so maybe start from organize. Last year you had a speech at the end and it got us worried. Like you said, that there is this generation coming. You can
Yes,
trust
I feel,
I
especially
got
this
it for
year, I feel so old because I'm going to turn 40 in a few months. So I really feel like I'm right there in the midlife crisis. So, I mean, it started a few years ago where I just feel like I'm at the point where you question yourself. Now it's the time to start if you want to start something, that is the moment, yes. It's the half, like, I don't know how long I will live, but it feels like this is the moment where if you want to start something, it starts now. And I have built now for 10 years the school, and you question yourself, is that what you want to continue for the rest of your life, or you need to change, like those questions. And it feels weird because I've always been going, running, and then suddenly you're just like, okay, what do I do next? What is the next chapter, the second chapter of your life? And yeah, it's crazy because I was watching the skaters yesterday, and they were all like, Laranaki was so strong and so beautiful and so young, and then I'm like, oh God, what am I doing here?
You still are the best.
Thank you.
Don't worry.
And you had energy twice as much as anyone else.
Yes.
Probably in the practice, and then I was burnt, so. Yes. No.
So if you want to tell us more about your programs that you skate?
The programs that I skate, so I was planning to do Aznavour for the first time here in Bellinzona, but then before Christmas, it was pretty ready, and the costume lady, she made the costume on time for Champéry, so I decided to do it in Champéry, and it was good that I did that because then it pushes me to also practice it. So, and it's a fun number. It's at the same time it has a little bit of Ne me quitte pas vibes. Especially we use the same ending for Aznavour than Ne me quitte pas, because it has the retrospective of Hier encore. It really shows looking back, and Je me voyais déjà is looking forward but in the future. Like it's really having all those desires, all those dreams, going out, of the village to conquer the world, and it's a little bit my story. It's coming out of Saxon, which is a very small village. Not my parents; they never did any artistic or skating, and I just take my life in my hands, and I go out in the world, and it's quite personal, this program, for my own personal story, and I actually fell in love with that music when I watched the movie. I was in Angers for the Grand Prix with Koshir, and I went to see the movie about Charles Aznavour, and looking at his life and looking at how hard he has worked and how difficult it has been to reach what his dream was. It inspired me, and I was then listening a lot of his songs, and those two songs I showed them to Salome, and we were not sure which one we use, and then I thought we need to use both. We need to use both because each part has a meaning for me, and I can relate to it in both parts. So we combined them, and we didn't know if we will start with Hier encore and then Je me voyais déjà, but I feel like the exciting moment at the beginning was when we played with the songs on the ice. It felt like that's the start, and Hier encore it has that feeling of Ne me quitte pas with that ending pose where we go, but we don't know when we go, and yeah, voilà. That's a little bit Aznavour. The whale, I think I have already explained quite a lot about it, but it's basically the concept is the dilemma between what the brain wants and what the heart wants, and this constant conversation in yourself of dealing with what you need, with what you want, with how you do it, with how you choose, how you decide, how you. It's this personal questioning that we all have, and at the beginning of this number, yesterday the lighting wasn't as planned, but usually there is light on the audience, and I have, because it's really a dilemma that we all have, and we all have to make those choices every day in our life, and at the beginning it's just looking at all of us and being like, okay, what drives us forward? Is it what we need? Is it what we want? And how do we choose, and how do we put the priorities on our decisions? So yeah, it's just getting together and facing that reality. This is a little bit the concept of this program.
It uses different choreographic language. Like you have different arms in the program. Like I felt like you're like swinging your arms. Or you have a very long spiral usually. So it just like music asks for that, or like how did you?
So there are a lot of breathing. I think it's really this moment of reflection where breathing has so much importance, because we need to take the time to breathe, and it helps to, and while I'm breathing, I'm weighing my brain, I'm weighing my heart, and I'm checking, okay, what makes more sense, right? So this is a symbolic of this choreography, and then the arabesque is really about scanning. We scan the environment, and sometimes we get so influenced by so many things around, and here it's just, okay, I'm here. There is this whole planet, there is this whole world, but I'm just here. I'm here, and I need to make my decision no matter what happens around me, right? So, more than a way of moving the arms, it's really the intention of being there and weighing that dilemma.
What does the end in your program? The end of the program?
The end represents, I mean, there is a lot of weight in the end, and it's really like the I don't want to say the dust, but it's like everything comes down to earth. It's full of gravity, and at the end it doesn't matter if you chose the brain or the heart, because everything comes down to earth.
Okay, I will ask one more question, but be ready to. You mentioned Mimikiteka, and you suddenly returned to it this summer.
Yes,
Why?
last summer, yeah.
Like,
Last summer. We are in 25.
oh.
It was,
You understand.
huh?
It's okay.
This summer is coming.
Recently, so.
Recently, it's more recent this
Previous
summer.
summer.
Last summer.
Right.
Was it last summer that I did the
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Yes. I mean,
Why did
I did a few revivals, like I did the revival of the flamenco, and I did the revival of Malher, which is quite recent piece, and now last summer the revival of the Mokitepa. And I like to go back to some numbers, because for example, I had a question about one of the numbers that I didn't realize that I did it, and then I watched the video and
it was actually good.
yeah, I was so amazed, and I wish I would have performed much more. It's the Beethoven,
Right.
the
Oh.
Beethoven
We
program.
wish too.
Yes.
And I saw that, and I was like, wow, I love that number, and I didn't perform it very much.
And you didn't realize it when you were skating?
Yes, such an incredible piece. I mean, I was very impressed. Yes. So I like to discover myself, and that's why I like to do a revival, because I find discovering myself. When I do it for the first time, it's a different feeling than when I come back to a piece. I think because I have evolved, I have lived, and then I look from another perspective, and yeah, I can understand something better or differently. I don't know. So yeah, No Mokitepa was nothing. It was, I think, nothing intentional, in the sense that it was not because of certain aspects of my life. It was just that I saw that performance and I thought, I want to relive those movements, those feelings, those programs, and
Do watch Water and Sense again.
yeah, I know. I love Water. I love Sense. I love this Beethoven string quartet. I love Grieg.
My
Yeah.
body is a cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, My Body is a Cage is a good one.
So maybe this summer you can
We were just talking with Salome, like, what is the next plan, and I don't know if I want to do a revival or if I want to do something new. It's
Almost.
or both.
So it's ready.
Okay, then I will ask a question. Someone posted in the group, but they were unable to ask it here. So the first question is about the collaboration with Vadim. And for me, it's kind of a special question, because I've seen his father performing when I was a little girl. And then when I've seen that you are cooperating with his son, it was like, you know, like my life connected from when I was like 10 to now. So
Was he dancing in Bern or no?
in Chernivtsi.
In
It's close to there, yeah. So how did your collaboration happen, and what are your impressions of that, or what you can tell about?
How did the work go?
I mean, I have admired Vadim for many years, and I met him in Japan a few years ago. I was able to see him perform in Japan and in London, and I mean, I see some resemblance with I don't know if it's because they're a strong man and they have such a beautiful posture, like a natural posture that represents so much power and so much beauty. And I thought connecting them together with Dennis having also some background from ballet, and so I asked Vadim for this work, and he was open to help us, and then we were lucky to work in the studio at the Royal Opera House. So already the environment was very inspiring, and then when he started explaining the whole story of La Bayadère and the small details in the interpretation that he uses when he's on stage, and I think it really helped Dennis to envision what he wants to perform, what he wants to interpret, and so just the talk and just the way he explains all those little nuances about his character, about Solar, was very helpful. And Dennis loves stories, so for Dennis it was, I think, important to have this as the main start of the work. And then Vadim started to dance, and it's just like whatever he does, it looks fabulous, and especially after talking about it, and then he explains with words, and then he moves, and then it's so clear, it's so perfect, it's the body language is not only beautiful, but it's so honest, and I mean, of course, it's a lot of work, it's all those years of technicity, but it's made with so much passion, and yeah, we were lucky to witness that, and we were lucky to get as much perfume as possible, like just Vadim perfume everywhere, you know, and yeah, and we tried to connect again, but he was injured, so he had a lot of time to do his rehabilitation, and hopefully we will connect soon. But he's very busy with his work. And we were lucky to have some time with him, but I will, of course, go and watch his performance and continue to get inspired by him, and I hope it helps Dennis also to. I want my skaters to see the beauty that we have in this world. I mean, it's very important we get inspired, and Vadim is one of them. Yes.
Did you get any feedback from him after they started performing?
Yes, he saw some videos and he gave some feedback, but we wanted actually more feedback. We wanted him to come because I think the live action I don't believe in internet and in social medias, but I am addicted to it, like all of us. But I don't believe in it, and I believe in the real and in the presence. So I want that, of course. Yes.
I have a question, if I may, about the recent Swiss championships that were held in Geneva
Yes.
in December. What was it like to come with Aaron Weiler as a coach, to return to the rink that has meant so much to you?
Yes, it's true. I spent so many years there, and I actually didn't go there for so many years, so it was pretty weird to be back and to see all the workers there, and they were so happy to see me. I was so happy to see that they're all there, and meeting them was very beautiful, and I was so impressed with my colleagues' organization that put this competition together. Of course, it was great that Ian was able to see where I grew up and where I trained. Chambéry's environment is very different, so I was very happy for him to discover that. Perfect timing. and yeah, I had my Swiss nationals in Geneva as well, back in 2000, I don't know what. So it's kind of, life is a circle. It brings you back to places, and we don't change. I mean, it felt like I never left that place, right? But then the situation is different, and it was a good time. Even with Lara, my other skater that was competing there, I actually love that part of the coaching job where you are in a situation where the adrenaline hits you, and of course you have practiced so much, and you, with all this adrenaline going on, you're shaking. And I remember hearing the stress of my skaters just by watching their reactions, and but also the way they handled it was quite nice. I have to say. I'm also nervous, but I can kind of merge the stress of the skater with my skaters into something that makes sense somehow.
You mentioned being in Angers with Koshir for his Grand Prix, and I could imagine seeing him winning silver there was quite emotional. Can you elaborate on your feelings of it?
Well, I've been working with Koshir since 2017, and the start was quite difficult because he was injured back then, and like a pretty serious hip injury, and throughout those 7 years, is that 7 years? Yes, a little bit more than 7 years. It was a challenge to keep him 100% healthy. And he was able to, during those years, I have lived moments where I really thought we have one body for our entire life, and skating is only a little part of our life. And I really thought, like, how to encourage him to do what he really desires, no matter injury or not, but like he has desire, how to guide him there. And so throughout those years, we've been working together to really, really, really put the emphasis on the quality and reduce the risk of injury, of just controlling the numbers so we don't overdo. And that's quite challenging because his desire to compete is so big, and he has so much ambitions, and he has so much potential. But having that on a daily basis is quite hard, and especially when you're young and you want everything. I mean, you want to take all the opportunities you have in front of you. So having to deal with this situation was very challenging, and that's why it was quite emotional that at the Grand Prix he was able to get the success that he desired, facing all the things that we had faced, and knowing all those numbers, limited numbers of repetitions in order to get there. And then it's not only you get there, but you get the success. So it was emotional for me, for him for sure, and yeah, I'm so happy. I mean, then of course when you have those moments, you look back and you see all the moments what built our relationship. He can explain you more, for sure. They are working in the walls.
They're trying to close the door.
It doesn't move.
But I think this door will not change anything because
It's coming from there.
so they need to close that door.
It's a weekend, they should be sleeping.
Yes.
More
Right.
questions?
Do you have questions? No questions? Inside those homes?
I saw some greetings.
Okay.
So there was no questions yet, but I'll read them out. One was very nice. Always a pleasure to hear you explain your programs. Thank you, Stéphane, for your words and coaching, and still skate your own programs. Thank you from Fenna from the Netherlands. And then I have one greetings from Torino. And some more people saying, hey, Stéphane. So everyone, please don't hesitate to ask and write some questions. I will check later. Oh yeah, now we get some hearts, of course.
So one more question from the group again about creating the programs. This one is about Squid Game for Larinaki. So how did this happen? Who decided about the music? What was the idea behind that? And the last question, did you watch the series actually?
So of course I watched the series and I just finished this season 2, yes. And I'm a big fan of that series. And I was very excited when she picked the music, and I was super excited. I love the series and I love the mix that she put together. I wanted her to be several characters throughout the program, but the main character was that doll from the green light and red light at the beginning when she's turning and coming back. So, and then at the end of it, she comes back to that character when she delivers the message. And yeah, it's such a fun program, but it has also a little bit of depth in that middle part with the slower and the stretchy sounds, which are beautiful, and she has that arabesque, she has an attitude going into the arabesque, and yeah, while I watch her, I want to do what she's doing. Like it gives me the wish to do it, so that's usually a good sign, and I like I said before, when I watched her last night, I'm a big fan of her skating. She has such a strong personality, strong definition of what she wants to deliver, and that Squid Game program is really fun, really fun. Like the step sequence, we played with that step sequence so much, and yeah, it's cool. It's really like a Squid Game.
What do you like about this series? Because I also recently watched it and I also like this.
I mean, it's so bloody and dark.
No, I'm not interested in the blood and in the shooting scenes, but I think we would all react the same when we are, like, maybe not at the, we are not going at the same level into that mode, but it's just like we are human beings, and when we need to defend ourselves, we will do whatever we need to do. And yeah, the characters are quite nice also, and the concept is so original, and yeah, and I was quite excited at the end that so many things are not
What they are.
not solved yet. So that means there will be a continuation.
Yeah.
Like we could feel frustrated because the season is over and we don't know anything. But I'm quite happy because I like to know that something comes, right? So yeah, no, it's not for everybody. I think it's a lot of brutality, but it's also showing a part of humanity that exists in us, that is quite deep, and yeah, it's brutal.
No, we have a question in the chat, or you? Maybe after that.
Okay.
Alright, now we have one question here from Japan. Have you seen Shoma perform at Japanese Nationals, and did you interact?
I didn't see him perform at Japanese National.
Didn't he skate on the exhibition or something?
I don't know, but I saw him, I had a dinner with him, yes. And we had time to enjoy each other, and it was, yes, to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, maybe I think the question was, did you meet with him?
Yes, yes, we had a good time, and of course, the first person I see when I enter in the rink was him in the corner getting ready for the commentary, and his aura, even if he's not on the ice, is very easy to notice. Yes.
Sure. I think most of us not only admire you as a skater, but also your work as a coach. And I would like to ask if is there any advice you can give young coaches who are just starting out? I'm so sorry. You don't need to answer.
No, it's. I mean.
And you do have such coach in your team, like you have girls basically growing with you and now coaching.
Yes, yes. I think we all have insecurities, and in coaching, of course, you need to develop a method or let's say a system that allows the skater to grow and to evolve. But I think you need also to pay attention. Like observing is very important. It's one of the important things a coach needs to do. Is to observe. You need to observe not only the technique, but to observe the person you have in front of you. The way they act, the way they react, the way they talk, the way they not talk. And my advice would be take the time to observe.
Thank you.
Yes.
Someone in the chat asked, do you still take dancing classes yourself?
Yes. Yes, I was thinking last night I really want to, like during the summer camp that we organize, we do ballet and hip hop and musical classes, and usually the ballet class starts, the first and the second ballet class starts just before the ice starts, so I have time to start the day with ballet, and I miss that time of the year, so yes, I just love to take the time to enter into my body, and yeah, the several coaches that we work with in dance, they really help us to be more aware of our body and to work with what we have.
So I have a related question from the group about your coaching certificate or diploma or whatever. So first, did you have to attend any specific seminars to prepare for that? And did you have to write a paper for the certificate? And if yes, what was this paper about?
So I actually had to write several, like 2 papers, and I had to attend a lot of seminars, of course. And in Switzerland, it's very long to get this certificate, so you need to, while you're doing the education, you need to coach on the side. Like you cannot just take the exam and pass and you have it. You need to continue teaching, and maybe after 1 year you go to the next seminar and you have had experience on the side. So it's also a time consuming process, and there is no shortcut. I don't remember, like I think the JNS course takes about 3 years, and then it took me 1 extra year. Once you did your JNS certificate, then I did 1 more year of specific education for high performance. So in total, it took me 4 years, 4 or 5 years for my paper, and at the end of the JNS course, I did 1 paper about planification of athlete with the short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals, and developing the schedule for the skater. And for the last one, for the last certificate that I did, it was much more. It was a same planification, but not for a whole career, but more for 1 season, with some specific work for the off ice, like what we need in skating is explosivity. So the focus was on how do we develop explosivity and how do you implement that in a more shorter period. Yes. So, and then the exam at the end was, of course, the paper that I wrote. It was a written exam, and there is also a presentation of the paper that you have written. And you have different cases also where the experts are giving you a situation, like let's say an athlete has a depression and he has a competition in 6 months and he wants to stop, and how do you deal with that situation, knowing that he had success and he's like, you have several informations and you need to kind of make a plan for the 6 months. And then, so you have those cases also. So it was quite interesting. The 3 years of JNS are quite basic. They teach you a little bit about the philosophy of being a coach and some rules that we have in our Swiss system of coaching in general. And it's a lot of administration also, a lot of papers, but there are a lot of common things that you can do within the sports community. So this was helpful. And then for the more specific things, the last step was very, very nice. Actually, it was with different coaches from different sports, and it was very interesting to share because we all have similar experiences but in different sports, and that's what I was saying before. When you observe, you can understand a lot. I don't know much about soccer or about tennis or whatever, but I think as a coach, you should be able to coach whatever the sport is, but you need to observe, you need to put the right mindset, you need to keep the discipline, you need to bring the motivation for the athlete to keep moving forward. So all those things don't really matter. And the technique don't really matter when you observe, and you can analyze and you can do, and that's a very important thing. And I think we underestimate that, and we put so much emphasis on knowing exactly what the content needs to be. But when you observe, you define the content, and you can actually plan much better.
Talking about papers and lectures, I think you mentioned in one of the interviews that the show in Hungary actually started because you did a lecture about 4 seasons during the festival.
Yes.
So I just wondered, what did you tell in that?
It was not really a lecture. It was reading the text. I think Vivaldi probably. I don't know if the text was before the music or the music before the text, but there were texts that in the partition of the 4 seasons of Vivaldi, you have words like a text. And I was reading the text of the partition.
Alongside the music.
Before, I think it was, I was reading and then they were playing for each season.
Oh wow.
Yes. And you can find those texts for the Vivaldi's seasons, yes. They're very poetic, they're very nice, with beautiful images.
I know your favorite composers.
You told me that, sorry.
I know your favorite compulsory figures, and you also teach them to your students. So there's a competition, especially for keeping these figures alive. How do you feel about that? It's like on black ice,
yes,
so you can actually see the movements.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that should be kept up?
I think so. I think nowadays skating has become more and more like a short track program with jumps, and we don't take so much time in the programs for real turns. Just need turns, movement. It was so chaotic. And I was watching yesterday Bellinzona Shikaru from 2002 short program, and it's So it makes me so in peace with myself, and to watch just the beauty, the lines, this is figure skating, yeah. So for me, it's important that we get to that side of figure skating, and that we actually take the time. A counter is beautiful. We don't need to do a counter and a rocker and blah 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 and the drizzle and the arms and the upper body. We don't need that. We need a counter, and just a counter, but a beautiful one with no speed.
Should beginners, whether it be a child or an adult, figure just focus on these figures and on the steps before they do certain jumps or spins?
Yes.
Because edge work and so is
They should definitely
important.
put a lot of time into the circles. Like we forget, and that's also because of our stupid idea and plastic boobs. We don't focus on the circle anymore because we skate. It's also why I have nothing against backflip, nothing. But backflips are not impressive to me because when you go to gymnastics, they're doing much better. So if I want to see backflips and crazy things, I go to a gymnastic or a circus. And then I get all what I want. When I see that on the ice, it looks less good and I don't need to see that. And we skate on edges. Backflip is something that goes straight with speed and that's it. So it's not really specific to, it has nothing to do with skating, and that's why yes, it's good if you can do it, because it means that you're athletic and you have learned it, but it's not figure skating. And for me, important is to use our edges, which is what makes skating specific, and it's even different than roller skate. Like roller skate doesn't have edges, we have edges. And this is our specific, this is what makes skating special, that we only have there. So we need to use that, and we need to emphasize that.
So if you were talking about it, the step of the month idea is brilliant. I don't know who came up with it, but just keep doing it, and I see that there is more and more involvement and reaction and feedback and skaters trying. So can you talk? And I saw people asking for simple value.
Yes.
You could have two versions. Simple versions for, I'm sure you can do it. Think about both. And then even more people would
Yes.
try.
Oh yes. Because a lot of people just can't do it. Or they can do simpler version.
I see.
Yeah, I like an easy version. I did the last one with the chuck toes, and it was for shared on the skating school, but with very flat edges.
Where did this reverse shock toe thing come from? It's not in any textbook that I have seen on figure skating.
I mean, Peter is one of the most creative person I know, and he comes with so many ways of twisting everything. So he already told me about reversing the mohawk. He has told me all my life about reversing the mohawks and reversing everything and bringing the free leg in a different shape, and so, and he always encouraged me to go into this infinity possibilities. So it's quite nice to have that somewhere in the system, but still he's the master of that, and it's quite nice to witness it. He comes every Wednesday, and sometimes I just want to be in his lesson and discover what kind of new reverse turn or step he's gonna come up with. But I was thinking about, for January, I actually asked my skaters at the school, I gave them 2 versions, and I asked them to vote. I had an easy one and I had the difficult one, and the easy one won, but I'm still kind of like...
You can do both.
Yeah?
Really?
Version A and B, and then everybody
Yeah, but
can...
it's a complete different concept. So
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Then people can...
But he did something for February too. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. For January, I still haven't. I was thinking maybe I could do it here in only today, so left. So it's either today or it's not going to be here.
What is your schedule this year? As usual, sometimes in Japan, do shows, and then come back.
I mean, every week is busy. That's my schedule. Yeah, I was actually thinking more about taking some holiday. So,
Where do you want to go on holiday?
of course, I will go to Portugal, and I don't know, maybe Greece. I really love Greece, but I love Italy as well. So, and I kind of like Scotland also. So I don't know, we'll see. But I will do several trips. One will be Portugal for sure, and the other one we'll see.
We have 5 minutes left. Like in 5 minutes, we promised that we are leaving this room.
See.
I understand that you brought presents, so maybe let's leave there. You'll have a few minutes after 11.
Yes.
Yes. So maybe let's talk till 11. At 11 we need to leave.
And then outside.
And
we-
then outside,
Yes.
whoever wants. Yeah.
Sounds good. So 2 more questions, I think. If I don't talk too much.
You're always welcome to talk.
That's why you're here. If there's nothing here, I can read out, but you go first.
Yes.
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you have
yeah.
something here, otherwise
Go
I'll
ahead.
make the chat.
I think your next big competition would be Europeans. Is there any way you as a coach specifically prepare for such a competition? Because I imagine you too have to get in the zone, I guess.
Yeah, I think most important is to eat well, to sleep well, and I actually like. I really feel my family or my close circle really helps me to resource. And, even if it's a commitment to drive and for a short time see them, and when it's a little bit chaotic, but still to feel the people I love is helping me to recharge the batteries. So I think the batteries need to be recharged, and yeah, food and sleep are my base. And then, like I said, observing and adjusting, and having faith, I guess.
Taking things too close to your heart. maybe?
That's hard. It's hard when there are always things that are going to disturb us. And it's up to us to focus on what we need and want, or focus on the things that disturb us. And that's difficult, especially when you have the adrenaline hitting you. Then that's the tough part. So that's why you need to have the batteries fully charged, have faith, and trust yourself, and trust the skater, because at the end it's their job.
Yeah, there are questions, but maybe not as the last one.
The final word, the final question. Do you have a final
Oh, I
question?
have a lot of questions.
Yeah, well, I can read. Where there was one question that asked if there's one program that you wouldn't do again and why, and something like that. Yeah, a lot of greetings. If you would take a psychology class, but you talked about this before, that it was part of the teaching.
We did
Yeah.
actually. We had a wonderful lady that came, and she came for a seminar, and it was kind of a team building session. It was very interesting. We worked on values, and we had all of us. We had to pick, like we had a box with a lot of values, and we had to select, like list the values. List the values in 3 groups: the ones that don't matter to you, the ones that are important, and the ones that define you. Kind of like three groups of cards. else. And then it was basically after listening that, we had to, each of us, get down to the values that define you. And it was a very good exercise. I really like that because nowadays it's hard to know what is important to us. So I think look for what you need, what you want, and don't let yourself get lost by what the system or what the society wants from you. But yeah, we are ourselves, and in order to make the system work, I think we need to stand on our feet and we need to do it by ourselves. No one else will do it for you. So.
So I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Just
Thank you.
and we do hope maybe it wasn't the last question. And no more here.
Yes, I hope so too. Yes.
Even if you will be even older next
But
year.
I will.
Impossibly
That's
older. And people don't
for
believe
sure.
it.
We all get
Get
older
older.
at the same rhythm. So.
Okay,
But
so
inside,
You're young.
You're young.
the cage is getting older. The bird inside is.
So maybe just say like a few words.
Thank you. See you. See you for the next final question.
Thank you, Stéphane. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and have a good day.
Yes.
Yes. And you're saving it?
Yes, I'm telling it. I know this is now the
Crucial.
crucial part. That I have to just say it.
And do you want to do a group picture, yeah?
Yes.
And then we will need, I need to ask them, we will need to arrange the tables,
Yes.
but wherever you want to do it here.
Yes. Or outside?
No, I thought like maybe.
Maybe there.
Like whoever who is taking picture and who is like beside the camera.
Huh?
I'm having my coffee finally.
It's the order a new one. Because after 1 hour it's cold.
It's okay.
Maybe
Do we have a timer? Can we put it in?
That's a remote control, we can do it with the
Perfect.
yeah, I don't know what technology we don't like.
No, well, technology helps, but
Keeps you awake.
no, but it gets more and more
Share. Like, I'm
frustrating.
really afraid to lose this video.
Yes,
I cannot press share.
I have very thin fingers, so I don't
Okay, she will have
It's
to
nice
wait
here.
for next year.
Next
You
year.
know,
Ho detto che possiamo metterci dentro le dita e venire qua personalmente.